What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Yes. We are back. Well, I am back this evening with a late night view. It wouldn't be a Friday without a late night view. This is becoming something of a little bit of a habit, isn't it, between you and I? Yes, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat as well. You get your badges, your emojis, your exclusive members only content like UV Raw. And you can also, season's over, but you can still call in possibly to the full-time view in the future, next season, maybe in pre-season as well. There's plenty going on in the world of Manchester United. We said we might be back, and guess what? We are indeed back. I am back this evening to give a bit of an update as to the news we got this afternoon regarding PSG President Nasser Al-Khelaifi. I believe that's how you say his name. We are going to be talking about him and how he's declined to be the middleman and all of this Sheikh Jassim Glazers takeover negotiations drama. We've also got a bit of an update as to actually when did those talks take place. We spoke about that earlier today, didn't we? Saying the problem is with a lot of this sort of context of the Glazers reaching out to Al-Khelaifi to try and persuade Sheikh Jassim to improve his bid. That kind of depends on when did they speak to each other? When did they reach out? Did they reach out this week? Did they reach out last weekend and that's why the bid went in? Or was it way before that? We've got details on that. Plus, we are going to be talking about how the Glazers are still undecided on this whole situation. So, I mean, it's Friday night, folks, yeah? And I know a lot of people on their Fridays, they might go out. They might go, I don't know, to a club. They might go for a meal. They might go to the movies. They might do something like that. You and I, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about takeovers. We're going to talk about Manchester United. What else do you want to talk about on a Friday night? We are going to talk about how the Glazers, as I mentioned, are undecided as to still who their preferred option is, despite them even reaching out to Sheikh Jassim's mate, essentially. We're going to talk a little bit about Min-jae and how United have almost publicly declared their interest in him. But speaking of PSG, they might be going in for the Napoli defender as well. A bit of an update when it comes to Harry Kane and alternatives, i.e. Rasmus Højlund, and also Disasi, and how he wants a Manchester United move as well. So be sure to click the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner too. I can see you all in the chat. The one thing I don't have with this new setup is I don't have my comments. That's the one thing. Usually I'll be clicking the comments and they'd be coming up on the screen. I need to fix that. I can fix that. I don't even need Josh to fix that. That's just me being lazy. So we will fix that shortly. Next time on the late night view. So yes, if you haven't already, click that like button. If you are just joining us and you haven't seen what happened earlier today, I suppose I should probably provide a bit of background as to the developments today. So I'm going to try and paint this as chronologically as I can and in the best order that I can from memory. Because a lot's happened today, certainly. So heading into today, we knew that there was this ultimatum, or as I noticed, at the time I noticed Flex saying this earlier on, and I didn't pick him up on it because I don't want to be that guy that when someone mispronunciates something, I go, oh, you said it wrong. What a snob. But he was saying ultimatum. Ultimatum, isn't it? You know what I mean? Ultimatum. I'll be that guy, but you know. You're not going to say it properly, you know. So, ultimatum. Heading into today, there was rumours and reports of an ultimatum from Sheikh Jassim and the 9-2 Foundation. And that if he didn't hear back or his bid wasn't accepted, he was going to walk away or certainly disengage from this whole process. That was quickly backtracked today, saying he's not going to walk away and he's not going to disengage, but he's a bit annoyed with how long it's taken. So we spoke about that this morning and the deadline and what could happen heading into today and this evening. And then David Ornstein from The Athletic dropped this big exclusive. Sirens, not the ones that always fly past my flat here. No, sirens saying exclusive. We went, whoa, what's going on here with David Ornstein? And he said that the Glazers had reached out to PSG President Nasser Al-Khelaifi in an attempt to convince Sheikh Jassim to up his takeover bid. Premier League clubs were concerned about it. There's a concern in the Premier League that it's just a front, that Sheikh Jassim's just a front for a Qatari state-backed bid for Manchester United, whereas others said, why wouldn't he consult Nasser Al-Khelaifi? He's the president of PSG. He's a senior figure in Qatari sports. And if he wants to get advice as to how to purchase a football club and the whole process of running a football club, why wouldn't he reach out to him? And in addition to that, there was then denials, etc., etc. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. But a bit of an update, context on that, because I know you guys love context, and I'm bringing you context this evening. Simon Stone said from the BBC Sport, I can't do the whole article with the Simon Stone impression. I can't. I mean, I could, but this stream would last about 48 hours if I attempted to do the whole thing like that. I don't imagine he types like that as well. You know what I mean? I don't imagine he. No, backspace. B. I'm not sure. I don't think he does that. No, I think. Can you imagine? Lots of commas. As Luxhill says, ellipses, a lot of them. ... Maybe he just types and then comes back to it. Maybe that's what he does. Manchester. No. Give me a minute. I'll come back to it. United. Maybe he does something like that. No, he didn't do that. He's nice guy, legitimately. Simon Stone. I'm terrified of meeting him one day. Not that he would know. I don't think he's going to be like you with that impression. I don't think he would do that. Kind of took a weird turn. He has said that Manchester United's owners spoke to Paris Saint-Germain chairman/president Nasser Al-Khelaifi a month ago in an effort to get Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani to increase his bid for the club. Significant. A month ago. BBC Sport, I tell you what, how long did it take? 9 minutes. Now that's not a record. That's not a record because I think the record of the sirens, is like 30 seconds. I have started press conference streams, with literally going, what's going on, guys? Welcome to United View. And then the sirens start and it takes the piss. It literally takes the piss. Going back to it, he said that, again, these talks took place a month ago. BBC Sport have been told, like David Ornstein reported, that it was instigated by the Glazers, who have known Qatari Al-Khelaifi for years. Of course, they've had numerous run-ins. I believe as well, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, doesn't he have a senior role on one of the UEFA boards as well? Because PSG were not involved with the Super League, weren't they? If anything, they were one of the people opposed to it. So I'm sure that they've had numerous run-ins when it comes to, or let's say run-ins, conversations and engagements and what have you, due to all of the UEFA ties. Of course, Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Group are competing to buy Manchester United. The Qatari banker made a fifth offer this week with a warning he would not engage with the process beyond Friday, that being today. What's key, and I think quite dubious about this report, is that Simon Stone is suggesting in this article that the conversation didn't work. He said, and I quote, "It is privately being claimed the conversation did not work as the bid for a full takeover was not increased." Now, I saw that when that was written and I read through this article and I said, well, that's wrong. Surely that's wrong. Because if you're saying they had this conversation a month ago, Nasser Al-Khelaifi and the Glazers, and how direct they were. I mean, some people are suggesting these were proper sit-down talks, sit-down discussions and conversations. But that was a month ago and they're going, well, it didn't lead to an increased bid. Well, it did. It did, because one went in earlier this week, which was an improved bid, surely. So, I mean, I don't know if he's suggesting that as a direct result of those talks, Sheikh Jassim didn't the next day, I'd say, oh, you spoke to the Glazers, did you? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll put an improved bid in. Maybe it didn't work like that, but clearly something worked, something changed in the last month, because it actually, thinking about it, in the last month, not only has one improved bid gone in, two has. Because it was about a month ago that the fourth bid went in, if I recall correctly, and that kind of came out of the blue when you think about it. Because when was the third and final round? That was at the end of April, I believe it was, something like that. And after that, a fourth bid came in, which was direct to the Glazers, and one could argue and speculate that that might have been as a result of this conversation a month ago. And then at the beginning of this week, a fifth bid went in. So you can't necessarily suggest that it didn't work. Maybe it wasn't, as I mentioned, a direct result of the conversation. But to say, oh, it definitely didn't work as a bid for a full takeover was not increased, I mean, that's just factually wrong. We know that's wrong. The reports are out there. It's been widely publicized and reported that new bids have got in. Higher bids have got in. In the same article that David Ornstein put out today, and Laurie Whitwell said this himself. He tweeted it, saying that whilst Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are still confident and they're still in discussions with Rain and they're still in discussions with the Glazers, and their feeling is that in the next couple of weeks they might get closer to succeeding in all of this, he even described the new Qatari bid as significant. So what? It's exactly the same? What's Sheikh Jassim doing? Doing copy and paste? Send again. Send again. Maybe it got lost. Send again. Of course not. If you're going to put another bid in, it's going to be higher. So the bid is clearly increased. Not once, but actually twice as well. So I kind of read that and went, well, that makes zero sense, honestly. I'm not sure. But okay. It's also been reported that Al Khalifi has also met with the Rain Group, which is handling the sales process, although this is being denied by a source close to the PSG chairman. Those same sources are also adamant that Al Khalifi has no role, either officially or unofficially, in United, and the bid is completely separate to PSG. Amid suggestions, other Premier League clubs want any sale to Sheikh Jassim fully investigated, due to a feeling it would be centrally funded from Qatar, which is essentially what Ornstein was also reporting earlier today, suggesting that there are concerns from Premier League clubs that, as I mentioned, that this is all just a front and it's just a state-backed bid, and Sheikh Jassim is merely a face, a cover-up almost, if you will, for what essentially would be a Qatari-controlled club. Like I was talking about earlier, when it comes to that, I mean, there's two aspects. One, I saw the discussion point of them trying to suggest that Al Khalifi was involved in this bid, and he can't be involved because he's the president of PSG. And you would say, well, you've got Ineos who own Nice. They're in the same league. They're actively they're actively bidding for Manchester United. So if you want to talk about conflicts of interest in terms of clubs that they own, I see no difference. As the Office meme says, it's the same. It's the same picture there. So I'm not sure what they're suggesting when it comes to that in terms of a conflict of interest. When it comes to, it's a state-backed bid, again, that's already happened in the Premier League. When we're looking at Newcastle are owned by the Saudi PIF. It's a sovereign wealth fund, which is controlled by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, yes, they signed a bit of paper and they put pen to paper and signatures to suggest that there was going to be no involvement. But let's not be naive here. I mean, that's merely a case of to ensure that everyone's protected. And so the Premier League can say, see, it says here that they're not going to. But let's not be stupid here. Of course, Newcastle have state-backed money. Again, it's from a sovereign wealth fund. And of course, Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. The money would seemingly all come from the same pot, but they would most likely sign legislation to say that it's not coming from a state, it's not a state-backed bid, and he is a private individual. That's what they keep saying. He's a private individual. It's a private organization. It's a new company, the 92 Foundation. They would be the ones that own United. So again, I'm always really hesitant to use that as a stick to sort of beat this Qatari bid with, because, as I said, Pandora's box has been opened in the Premier League. Of course it has. So, I don't understand that one as well. And to suggest that, again, there's a conflict of interest, it's just PSG, the people that own PSG tried to buy Manchester United. Well, the person that owns Nice is also trying to buy Manchester United. And they can say, well, there's no conflict of interest from a UEFA point of view because Nice aren't in the Champions League and United are. So what, we suggested that when if Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos were to own Manchester United, Nice are just never going to qualify for the Champions League. They're just going to sack them off. I mean, there were rumours that maybe they might have to sell them, weren't there too? Because of that very reason. So there's complications on both sides. So in terms of all of that, I kind of went sort of, I don't get that. Again, as I see actually, frankly, quite a bit of hypocrisy involved there. Now, I see the super chats, by the way. I'll get to them in just a second. The article continues by saying concerns have previously been expressed around potential conflicts of interest in Al Khalifi's club role and his status as chairman of the influential European Clubs Association and his close relationship with UEFA President Alexander Ceferin. Sources close to Sheikh Jassim have repeatedly claimed his proposed purchase is being made in a private capacity. It has been established Al Khalifi has spoken to Sheikh Jassim to offer his experiences around running a major European club. It is not expected Sheikh Jassim will make any statement around the self-imposed Friday deadline, and he is not intending to withdraw his bid. So we're not going live this evening and bringing you the breaking news that Sheikh Jassim has withdrawn his offer, he's walked away from the table, or even that he's disengaged. I mean, we're going to be live for the next, 40 minutes or so, so you never know. Frankly, a lot of crazy stuff has happened whilst we've been whilst we've been live in the past, particularly with these late night shows. But I don't think we're going to get that kind of breaking news this evening. So after all that hubbub about he's walking away or he's putting this deadline on, nothing's really happening when it comes to that. But at the same time, I do think quite a lot of this Al Khalifi stuff has been somewhat overblown today. I put the analogy out there, and I actually spoke to KG about this. I mentioned this on the live stream earlier on, but I actually spoke to KG about this on the phone today. And I used the same analogy of him, and I said, if I was setting up a Marvel YouTube channel, I said I'd call Flex. And in true KG the comedian style, he said to me, whoa, I wouldn't ask Flex about a Marvel channel. And I went, you're right. You are right. Why would I? If I was setting up a Marvel channel, I definitely wouldn't ask Flex. What's he going to know about Marvel? He'd be like, what? I don't. But the point being, take away the Marvel part, the YouTube. If I was setting up a new YouTube channel, I would ask Flex. I'd say, mate, you've got so much experience in this. You've been successful doing this. Have you got any advice? What do you think I should do? How do you think I should go about it? And that's essentially what they're suggesting is the role of Nasser Al Khalifi when it comes to Sheikh Jassim's bid. Why wouldn't he? He knows him. He's a senior figure in Qatari sports and obviously European football. If you've got that resource available to you for guidance and advice, then clearly you'd pick up the phone and say, I'm thinking of doing this. What's your recommendations? What are your thoughts? Etc, etc. Have you had any interactions with the Glazers? He would say, yes, I have. Approach it this way. I'd recommend doing this. I'm not sure it's the biggest smoking gun that people are suggesting that it is, honestly. And frankly, as we mentioned earlier on, whether it's a month ago or 2 minutes ago, the fact that the Glazers reached out to Al Khalifi himself to try and get him to persuade Sheikh Jassim to improve his bid, if I was Sheikh Jassim, I'm going to be honest with you, yeah, that would really, really piss me off. Really piss me off. I'd be like, hey, okay, and maybe at the time this is when his third bid had gone in, but I would say, I have barely heard from you throughout this entire process. This whole process has been going on, even if it was a month ago, we're talking 6 months, because it started in November. I'd say this process has been going on for half a year. I've barely heard anything from you. I'm going through this rain group that clearly I'm getting frustrated with. I've put in multiple bids at this point. Bear in mind, world record bids as well. Granted, they're not to the asking price that you want, but frankly, your asking price is way too high. It's way overvalued. It's over double the actual market cap for this organization. It's ridiculous. Just because I've got the money doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to spend it. And then you have the nerve not to speak to me. You get in touch with my friend, and my friend saying to me, hey, maybe you should up your bid. I'd be like, are you taking the piss? Seriously. If you want to do that, come to me. And actually, no. And he did. He did technically, not to what the Glazers wanted, but at the same time, I'd still be saying, is this really what you're doing? You're going to people that I know to try and persuade me. Tell me what you want and let's negotiate. None of this back and forth, none of this cloak and dagger, none of this what you think is 4D chess, none of this kind of stuff. Let's get this done. Because granted, you can view the fact that they picked up the phone or wanted to meet with Al Khalifi as a signal that they are determined sellers, which is something that Ben Jacobs mentioned today. But at the same time, I also see it as a sign that they're just playing games. And do they even know what they want to do? Yeah, we want to sell, but it's at the right price. Do we know what the right price is? Kind of, maybe 6 billion quid, but maybe we'll get in touch with his friend. We've kind of annoyed this guy that we know has got the money. At the same time, this Sir Jim Ratcliffe guy, we've panicked him so much that initially he was going for 69. Now he's going for 51. And eventually he'll get to 69%, our 69%. But some of actually the siblings want to get out completely, so we're not sure how that's going to work. Oh yeah, by the way, meanwhile, some of the minority shareholders in the organization too, they're annoyed because there's a suggestion that they might not be even involved, in this takeover. So we don't really know what's going on there. There's even rumblings of like litigation. The whole thing is a cataclysmic mess. And I can understand the frustration on the part of Sheikh Jassim because you do start to question eventually, like, what do you guys want? Like, I know money, that's clear. It's clear money. But at this point, there's no excuse. There's no distractions. You could have even used excuses of, well, it's getting towards the end of the season. We don't want to influence the team too much or the manager. There's cup finals. You want to qualify for the Champions League. Now what? There's nothing but time. And yet people are still sitting on their hands not doing anything. That to me just is completely illogical. It really is. Let's get to a couple of your super chats, then we'll get into some more news regarding this. Soapbox, I'm off it. Keegan with the super chat, appreciate the contribution, says, I'm so tired of this sale. I'd rather watch paint dry. Wow, it's funny you say that, Keegan. 9 a.m. tomorrow, paint dry, here live on United View. It's going to be excellent. I think it might do similar numbers to the takeover stuff. Paint drying, paint view. Maybe we just, behind me, I'll just paint this, paint that. I can't really. Yeah, in paint. I'll be like, what's his name, Bob Ross. I've been watching or listening to some of those to go to sleep recently. They are good. They're good. Let us know. Members. Members video. KG's Hype Man has been a member for 2 months. Appreciate 2 months of support from KG's Hype Man. Says, Owen from Ends, fire. You know what it is? I just feel like it's every time I press this live button, we get the sirens. But I feel like at this point, it wouldn't be a solo live stream with myself here on United View without them. And if they're not there, I'd miss them. Yeah, well, the graphics have been massively upgraded here recently. Shout out Josh, graphics guru, visual ninja. But we're still a little bit rough around the edges. That's the heart. That's the heart of United View, isn't it? IB has been a member for 10 months. Appreciate 10 months of support from IB. Says, it's cool when City and Newcastle do it. It's a problem when we do it. Well, this is the thing. Yeah, obviously, look, when Newcastle was taken over by the Saudi PIF, there was pushback. I mean, there's not to say that there wasn't, because there was. But I do sort of raise my eyes a little bit. Raise my eyebrows a little bit when we're talking about Manchester City playing in the Champions League tomorrow, possibly completing a treble. Discussions about whether they're the greatest team in Premier League history and one of the greatest sides in modern football history. And you go, they're owned by Abu Dhabi. Like, as I've mentioned, Pandora's box when it comes to that. And I'm not, signing off on it or condemning it either way. But I'm just sort of saying, it's already here. Like, it's already happened. KG's hairstylist, tough job, says, do you think Sheikh Jassim will be put off by all this? I don't think so, in the sense of he's going to pull out, because he would have done that already. So I don't think he's put off by this. I think he's incredibly frustrated, no doubt about that. I mean, I think that's very clear in terms of him putting that ultimatum out there, obviously reneging on it a little bit, because maybe he's like, no, I do really want to buy this, but I'm getting really annoyed. And I mean, clearly he's frustrated because the Glazers don't reach out to a close advisor of a person that isn't frustrated or is going across a very smooth process, do they? But appreciate the contribution from KG's hairstylist. Ahmad, legend, says the only Glazers that deserves to exist are the ones glazing them donuts. Wow. I think we can all agree on that. Glazed donuts, sensational. And Vicky with the super chat says, it feels like the Titanic meme. It's been 84 years. It has. And maybe we might just reach that in terms of when this takeover is completed as well. I believe maybe, let me double check this. There may have been a Ben Jacobs tweet in the last few minutes whilst I'm live. I told you guys that something would happen whilst I'm live. Indeed it has. Ben Jacobs has tweeted in the last 6 minutes. Is it a Ben Jacobs thread? It's a small one. It's a small thread from Ben Jacobs, who has said the 9-2 Foundation's self-imposed deadline has now officially passed and they will not engage in further financials. Mood remains positive, but it's now seen as entirely up to the Glazers. But the 9-2 Foundation have not used this deadline to walk away. Ineos still remain cautiously optimistic following what is termed by sources as positive and ongoing dialogue. Nothing imminent for them, but in the next 1 to 2 weeks, their hope is that may change. Strategic alternatives, especially Carlisle, also can't be discounted. Those are those minority investors. The Manchester United sale process is now expected to progress to a preferred bidder within 2 weeks. Suitors are pushing for clarity before the window opens. Well. Okay, let's break this down. So, according to Ben Jacobs, he's saying that Sheikh Jassim is disengaged, which is different from what was being put out there earlier on. The suggestion was that he wouldn't disengage, but Ben Jacobs is saying, and again, I don't know if he's getting this directly from the 9-2 Foundation to say, that's it, deadline's passed, we're not talking to the Glazers anymore, or I don't know if he's just assuming this because he's like, well, the deadline passed, that's what they said they were going to do, so I guess this is what's going to happen. But he's suggesting this deadline has passed, and now it's up to the Glazers, entirely up to the Glazers, but they haven't walked away. They've just disengaged. They're not going to talk. No more offers. This is it. He is also saying that we're going to progress to a preferred bidder within 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to the preferred bidder thing, I am very much in the situation of I will believe that when I see it. Because, come on. I remember that this whole process was going to be done by Easter. Easter's come and gone, okay? The Easter eggs are rotten. They've melted in the heat today. Well, why would they be out at this point? They'd have melted a long time ago. The point is that we have been told that this thing would be done in weeks or months or whatever, and it's been such a long period of time anyway, so I'll believe that when I see it. As far as that first bit, saying that they've now disengaged, or they're not going to engage on further financials, that's very, very interesting. Now, when he says that, does he necessarily mean they're not going to engage on a further offer? I.e., this is as high as I'm going to go. This truly is it. This is my take it or leave it. I'm not going to negotiate. Or is it a full disengagement? The offer's on the table. You know my offer. These are my terms. Take it or leave it. Otherwise, I'm out of here. Okay? Well, I'm out of here anyway. That's it. I'm not going to talk about it. So that's interesting too. People saying Owen is a robot. Is that it? I hope that's just because of constantly going through. There's not any sound issues or anything like that. Because when people say robot, I assume that it's like a sound issue. Is that accurate? Is that accurate? You could let me know in the live chat. I don't want to do a KG go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear myself. I'm fine. So yes, let me do. I don't really know what the poll is. I don't know. I don't know what the poll is. In terms of what I could ask you about that. Well, let me just let me know what your feeling is about that news. I suppose I'm not really sure what the poll can be for that one. I suppose I could ask: are you feeling positive? Or actually, the poll could be: do you think Sheikh Jassim will win this race? Let me do that. Let me do that. And this, you know what the difficult thing is I still am really bad at spelling the word Sheikh. I always get it wrong. I tell you what, if autocorrect didn't exist, I'd be in a lot of trouble. I'd be in big trouble. Will Sheikh Jassim win the Man United Takeover race? Poll is in the chat. Poll is in the chat. Yes. So the question is, will Sheikh Jassim win the Man United Takeover race? Particularly now that this deadline has passed, and according to Ben Jacobs, they're going to not engage on further financials. So I suppose again that is significant, and within the next 2 weeks we're going to find this preferred bidder. In addition to voting in that poll, let me know who you think that preferred bidder is going to be. Do you think, and as I mentioned, not who you would like, we did this the other day, not who you would like, but who do you think that preferred bidder is going to be. Is that preferred bidder going to be the 9-2 Foundation, or is it going to be Ineos as well? Let me know your thoughts. Already, just now, already, I mean, it's not even a minute in. We've already got 200 votes, by the way, and we've got just over 200 likes. That's a disgrace. That's a cheat. We can up that to 500, certainly. But 79% of you saying yes straight out the gate. Now, again, is that what you would like or what you would think as well? Let's see what some of the comments are saying. Big up Rich. I can see Rich in the chat there. Says, I'm always going to say yes in hope. Steffi Jenks says, I just want this to be over. I feel you. I do. Tywin says, I think people are answering with their hearts instead of their brains. Lil Yo-Yo says, I think Fleck will be the preferred bidder. Fleck Althani. I've said it again. His last name. What else are people saying here? Scott Dog says, Owen, does Sir Jim bid include the pound investment in their in valuation? No. I mean, really, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, oh God, hasn't really committed to anything in terms of investment. All we really know, and I say we know, all that's been reported, that's the key thing, all that's been reported is his offer to purchase no less than 51% and up to 69% of Manchester United for what is speculated to be 5 billion overall. That's a suggestion, I think. But again, those reports are incredibly disputed, and it is, it's really difficult, really difficult to get any kind of, I say accurate information, but currencies differ, numbers differ, all that kind of stuff differs, and that's the situation that we're in with all of this. It's kind of wild, certainly. So there you go. Am I caught up in all of the super chats as well? Vicky has gifted a membership. There you go. Big up, Vicky. We've got so many new members at the moment. It's incredible. So welcome to all the new members. As I mentioned earlier on, the community is really communitying at the moment here at United View, and it really is. It's a pleasure. I mean, I can't believe that there is 1,300 people at 10:34 on a Friday evening listen to me waffle on and ramble, and the community is just absolutely brilliant here and very welcoming, very civilized and fun. That's what it's meant to be all about. Obviously it's football, obviously we get happy and we get sad and we get angry and we get frustrated, but it's all still fun at the end of the day, and the community is top notch here as well. KG's hairstylist is back, unlike KG's hairline. Says, Glazers don't want to sell completely. They want to bleed us dry. They have milked this cash cow to death, yet trying to get more out of us. And Vicky also says, poll how worried you are for next season. 25, 50, 100. Woof. I haven't even thought about next season yet. I mean, I do when it comes to transfers and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't even thought about like what our aim should be or anything like that. There's too much going on to even think about that, isn't there, as well? I do want to get into, as I mentioned, the Glazers being, I tell you what, why is that? Look at that. That is a disgrace and a cheat. Why is that like that? Wow. That is a disgrace and a cheat. I don't know why that was there like that. That's what you get on the late night view. Now, a professional broadcaster would have just very sort of quickly made that disappear and not talked about it, but there you go. I want to talk a little bit about the Glazers being undecided on contenders as to Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now that I suppose that Sheikh Jassim is disengaged after his deadline has passed. This came from a big piece from the Telegraph today, saying the Glazers are understood, as I mentioned, to have asked PSG's president to help persuade Sheikh Jassim to increase his Manchester United bid. Insiders say Nasser Al-Khelaifi declined to get involved after United's owner suggested last month he might be able to help as a middleman. Sheikh Jassim has sought, as I mentioned, Al-Khelaifi's private opinion on the proposed takeover. However, multiple sources maintain the PSG owner has no official or unofficial role in the process and has offered no input on how much the Qatari group should pay. In addition to that, it is continued by saying, as of last week, the Glazers were undecided on various contenders, although talks with Ratcliffe have been encouraging. He is willing to buy around half of the Class B shares. There have been no guarantees from the Glazers that they are ready to declare him the preferred bidder, which is what keeps being put out there really when it comes to Ineos is that how many times over the last 2 or 3 weeks now have we seen, heard and discussed that Sir Jim Ratcliffe / Ineos is leading the race. They're leading the race. They're in pole position. They're in talks with the Glazers. They're in talks with the Rain Group. They're getting more detailed. They're thinking in a couple of weeks they're going to have significant progress on this. Couple of weeks. And nothing changes when it comes to that. And also, there's always at the end a little caveat to say, but they're not ready to declare him the preferred bidder. If you were really happy with him, and if all of these talks were going really well, surely you would just go with this guy. And if I was Ineos, and if I was Sir Jim, I would say, what are we waiting for? If all of these reports are true, if all of these reports are accurate, that you like my bid, you like how I've sort of tweaked things, you like that you're going to be sticking around, you like that you're going to be getting cash, yeah, you're not going to be in majority control, but you like that I'm giving you a lot of money, you like that I value Manchester United at 6 billion quid. I'm not giving you 6 billion, but I value the club at 6 billion. You like that. Why aren't we progressing? Yes, I'm the front runner. Yes, we're having talks, but if I was really progressing, surely we would be getting somewhere. And they always end it with, but they're not ready to name him the preferred bidder just yet. I would question, what are you waiting for? And if I was Sir Jim and I was in these talks with the Rain Group, and then I hear today that a month ago the Glazers had called up Sheikh Jassim's friend to persuade him to offer more money, I'd say, how close actually am I? Or am I, as my theory has been this whole time, is he just a pawn in play here? Is this just a game of chess that is for an astronomical amount of money, for a huge asset, a global juggernaut of a football club, of a business, of an enterprise that is Manchester United, that is being played out through the media, that is being played out through intermediaries, that is being played out in terms of a game of telephone, in terms of you tell him to tell this person this. Is that how this is getting played out? So I think there would be frustrations, honestly, on both sides. I think there would be frustration from the 9-2 Foundation that they've put in 5 bids at this point and they're still getting resistance, or they feel like they're getting nowhere. And I think there would be frustration on Ineos' side too, where they feel like they are getting somewhere, but with the people they feel like they're getting somewhere with, they're still getting this weird, you're getting close but not close enough. And they might know in their heart of hearts too, I don't think this guy or this group of people actually really want to sell it to us. And we've just got to hope that eventually we can put together a proposal that's as intriguing, and they can't come to terms with the other actually probably favoured bidder, the one we know actually has the money to give the Glazers what they want. But at the same time, as I mentioned, if I was Sir Jim, I would still be like, you know what, this is like, am I being lied to? I'm in these meetings because, again, they're saying these talks are extensive. I don't know if these are happening every day, but they're happening most weeks. Every time I go into it, I'd say, I know maybe there's certain things you can and can't tell me, but are we getting somewhere here? Am I wasting my time? I've gone to major banks to secure loans to do this. As United fans, obviously very concerning, but from Jim Ratcliffe's point of view, I'd be like, oh, where are we going with all of this? And again, as I go back to it, it's farcical. It really is. It's farcical. Poll's been up for 10 minutes and 80%, not 100%, as Marcel would say, 100%. You got 100%. 80% of you say that Sheikh Jassim will win the Man United Takeover race. We've got over 1,300 people watching right now, and we've currently got 375 likes. 375. We can get 500. Easy. Absolutely easy. We've got 20 minutes left. We can get to 500. Which is solid stuff. Very solid stuff for a solo late night view Friday night stream. So if you haven't already, click that like button. We can get to 500. Currently 107 away. Good maths for late on a Friday. So if you haven't already, click that like button and be sure to subscribe to bottom right hand corner. As you can see in the top, what's that? Right hand corner. Point up. My hand disappears because of technology. But you can see the subscriber count actually live going up. So if you want to see how much your subscription counts, you can see it in the corner. So if you haven't already, subscribe to bottom right hand corner, and you can join the members club too. let's talk a bit about transfers as well. We're not just going to talk about just takeovers. As I mentioned, Transfer View will be coming tomorrow morning too, so don't worry about that. We've got all bases covered here at United View, but just a bit on Kim Min-jae this evening. Dharmesh, our friend Dharmesh at Sky Sports, has said that Manchester United have made it clear to Kim Min-jae's camp they are interested in signing him. United's priority position is a striker. If and when the striker is signed, it will become clearer on how much money is available for other positions. But should we be concerned about PSG? Not because of Al Khalifi, well, I guess in this case, not because of the takeover stuff, but Al Khalifi actually going for Kim Min-jae as well. According to Mike McGrath from the Daily Telegraph, he is reporting that Napoli have offered Kim Min-jae a new contract, which is actually nothing new. That had been reported a while ago, that Napoli have tried to tie him down to a new deal that removes this clause in his contract, his release clause, but I don't think he's probably going to come to terms with that. But he is also reporting that PSG are the front runners for his signature if indeed he does decide to leave Naples this summer. They are interested and would rival English bids this summer. He is understood, as I mentioned, to have this buyout clause in his current deal that would see him leave for less than 50 million this summer. No official bids have been lodged yet. And once again, a bit like when I was reading the Simon Stone article earlier, and I was saying that makes no sense, this also made no sense to me, because I actually saw a lot of negative reaction to this today when this came out, going, typical United, typical, look at us. Yes, we've said that we want Kim Min-jae and we've made it known to his representatives that we're interested. Oh, making it known FC, monitoring FC, look at us, absolutely terrible. Why don't we get it done? Why don't we get it done? Why don't we put a bid in now? And I went, wait a minute, is this going over everyone's head? Have we forgotten the reason Kim Min-jae is attainable this summer is because he has a buyout clause that comes in effect on July 1st to July 15. Nobody can put in a bid yet because you can't trigger it. The clause isn't active. So of course there's been no official bids lodged for him yet. Unless you tried to be really stupid and put a bid in for a player that would be way over what his release clause is, just to get ahead of everyone. Oh yeah, he's available for less than 50. It's like 45 million. We're going to put in a bid for 60 right now. Why? I don't know, because we want him more than other people. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. That's bad business. So in terms of the outrage of people saying, why aren't we doing anything with Kim Min-jae? Why haven't we signed Kim Min-jae right now? Liverpool have signed Alexis McAllister. Why haven't we signed Kim Min-jae? Because we can't. Nobody can at the moment. Napoli are still trying to work to sign him, to lock him down to a longer contract and remove that release clause. PSG, if they put in a bid, will put in a bid at the exact same time that Manchester United do, on July 1st, and it will be for the exact same amount because that's his release clause. So, of course, United have declared to Kim Min-jae's representatives that they're interested. They've been trying to agree, if not agreed personal terms with him already. It's well known United have been talking to Kim Min-jae and his camp about a move, because this deal kind of has to be done backwards. You have to agree the terms with the player and then put the bid in, and then you can sign off on everything. Bear in mind that that release clause is only active for 2 weeks. So they have to get it done in a really short period of time. So nothing in terms of actual bids going in can happen right now. But yes, they can have informal talks about wages and about terms and all that kind of stuff. So I looked at that and said, should we be concerned about maybe PSG sweeping in? I suppose so, because we should be concerned about anyone swooping in on July 1st, because I doubt we'll be the only club that puts in, that triggers his buyout clause. But if you've done your due diligence, if you've agreed the terms with the player, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, surely. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. So again, I looked at that and sort of said, well, obviously there have no been official bids yet. And as far as PSG being interested, obviously that is something that maybe we should be a little bit worried or concerned about. But, you know, save me the whole, why aren't we buying them now? Because we can't. You can't. You really can't. I'm seeing, by the way, a lot of flags in the chat. Now, I believe this is to do with where everyone's watching from, which I'm actually quite curious about myself. This was something I used to do a lot on my first streams on United View, where I'd press the button and be terrified. And I would like to bring it back this evening. So if you haven't already, put a flag in, and also, well, actually, no, I suppose I can try and guess what the flag is, but I'm probably going to get a lot of it wrong as well. So say flag and name, please, where you're watching from, out of interest, because the community is incredibly diverse and global here at United View. And I always find it really interesting as well. I see some UK ones in there. I see some American ones. St. Lucia, Canada. Oh, Canada. Phil Neville is your coach. Yeah, started off with your national anthem, and then a big blow that. Phil Neville, you've got to deal with that. North Wales. What else we got in there? Turkey, Uganda, Texas, Jamaica, Virginia, Nigeria. Look at that. I could do this for like an hour. More from the US, more from the UK. There's Iraq in there as well. Berlin, Ethiopia, California, Kenya, Chicago, Zambia, Canada once again, Jamaica, Northumberland, Guyana. Someone just says the world. I tell you what, if you said like Venus or something like that, or Mars, or the Milky Way, the observed universe, or as Marcel would say, outside of the realm of time, that would be incredibly impressive. KG's hairstylist says KG's hairline. So not only are you a stylist of KG's hair, you actually live in the hairline, which is non-existent. So maybe that is kind of like outside of the realm of time, because it's something that doesn't exist, KG's hairline. KG's hairline is quite special because it goes all the way behind his head, which is quite interesting. Very rare that. Some people saying Qatari. Lilio says from your cupboard, Owen. That's quite disturbing. I'm gonna have to check that afterwards, because if there is, I feel like I would get in trouble even if I haven't done anything there. You know, if someone discovered that, that would be quite concerning. Stephen says the Shire, which I believe is where also Marcel resides. IB says Earth 19999, which is a Marvel reference. That is tremendous. SJ says just 3 doors down. Hi SJ, hope you're doing well, neighbours. And Nigeria flag says, well, anyway. Anyway, that started for me just seeing flags. Focus, Owen. Focus. We've got 2 topics left and 13 minutes. Come on. Splash Jeanette says, yeah, back neck. Cage's got that back neck hairline. It is impressive. 316 says the quantum realm. So that's quite good. Third rock from the sun, which is actually Earth. Is that correct? I think that is Earth. And it's in a great sitcom as well. Who was the guy that was in it? Oh, what's his name? He's been in loads of stuff. John Lithgow was in it. Third rock from the sun's really good. Lil Yo-Yo says, from Death Valley, weighing 299 pounds, The Undertaker. Fire. Hat. The eye roll. I can't do it. Paul Bearer. I don't have an urn. If I did, that would be really alarming if I had an urn next to me. I meant a drink. Kane alternatives. Yes. Harry Kane alternatives. We are going to talk a bit about this. I know we've done this to death, but it's a bit of an update today coming from Dharmesh Chef once again, who has said, with regard to strikers, Manchester United are seriously looking at alternatives to Harry Kane and could formalise interest in Atalanta's Rasmus Højlund, which we know. We know that anyway. As time goes on, and I know we're still very, very early into this summer. We're still very early. We're not even in the transfer window right now. The window hasn't officially opened, but I don't know. I just still think... I don't think Harry Kane's going anywhere, which is really dumb of me because I've made a £10 bet that Harry Kane is definitely going to Real Madrid, and I don't know why I made that. My hope is that Flex might forget about that one. But as time goes on, and it wasn't even my original theory, I thought he was going to stay at Spurs. I did. I thought he would stay there because, as I've said before, I think we almost underestimate Daniel Levy's not negotiating prowess, but just how sort of difficult he is to deal with. I think the only place he could go this summer, if he was to leave Spurs, would be Real Madrid. But for us, I just think he is already, and maybe a long time ago, made up his mind, I am not selling Harry Kane to Manchester United. The thing was put out there before, the report, you will have to kill me for me to sell Harry Kane to United, which is incredibly OTT, incredibly dramatic. Stubbornness, big up Rich. Yes, stubbornness and just vindictiveness. And I suppose you could argue it's shrewd at the same time. He knows what position Spurs are in at the moment. They're in a bad position. they've gone from a team that for a couple of years was in the top 4. There's an argument to be made they were competing for trophies. Didn't win any, which is Spurs, but they got to a Champions League final. They were in title race with Leicester that year and got to cup finals, whether it's Carabao Cup final or whatever. Didn't win anything. And they had a group of players that was one of the better group of players in the Premier League. And now they are so far off it, it's unbelievable. A lot of those players have left. The goodwill and good feeling around Spurs is all but evaporated. They've got Ange Postecoglou, which, as I mentioned, I think he might do an okay job. But their hopes of doing anything next season, not even winning trophies, but just getting in the Champions League, is that Harry Kane is going to be there. And I think that he's just going to hold on to that. I think he might have even already said to Harry Kane, you ain't going anywhere. You're not going to United, definitely. And I don't really want to sell you to Real Madrid because your only hope. I'm like Princess Leia in Star Wars A New Hope, talking to R2-D2. Now, Daniel Levy is Princess Leia in that situation, and with that hairstyle and that dress, I don't know how that works. And I don't know who R2-D2 is in that scenario because Harry Kane's Luke Skywalker, the only hope. And actually, that does work because he could bring balance to the Force. He could bring balance to Manchester and actually level things back up. The dark side, City, is supreme at the moment. The Empire, and we need Harry Kane, Luke, the Rebellion. I'm not sure that really works. And I still don't know who R2-D2 is in that situation either. But my point is that I don't think Harry Kane's going to go anywhere this summer. And I think it will be a decision for him to make on a free transfer. I think he does leave Spurs next summer. I don't think he signs a new contract. And because I don't think Spurs do anything of significance. I think they might get in Europe, not the Champions League, but they might get in Europe. They might get the Europa League or something like that. You have to remember too, they're not in Europe at all. They're not in Europe at all this coming season. So they're only going to be playing one game a week with Harry Kane. I mean, he was still scoring, second top goal scorer in the Premier League. Scored a ton of goals this season. You would expect it's no different next season as well. So he'll score goals and they'll have extra time to recover. Ange Postecoglou will have time on the training ground to get across his ideas. He'll get some players this year. I have seen Daniel Levy said that he wants the coach to kind of focus on the youth players in the academy. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But I don't know if Harry Kane goes anywhere. But next summer, I think there'll be a lot of clubs interested in for him. And even if we get this star striker this summer, we should still go for him. Anyone worth their salt, even City with Haaland, should try and get Harry Kane next summer. Because a player that is world-class becoming a free agent doesn't happen every day. And you try and take that opportunity because he is guaranteed, absolute guaranteed in that situation. Splashnet says KG is R2-D2. I'm not sure why would Daniel Levy be talking to KG to send a message to Harry Kane saying, you're my only hope. I'm not sure why KG would be there, but he does find himself in some strange situations. Unless it happened in Tesco and KG's there pondering, bakery aisle maybe, going, do I want a croissant? How many of them do I want? And he gets a tap on the shoulder. Excuse me. Oh, it's Daniel Levy. Can you tell Harry Kane he's our only hope for Champions League football this season? Yeah, fine. I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to get in touch, but I'll try and pass it on. Maybe that's how it would work. The only way, actually, that would work. And again, I think that's quite a forced scenario in that one. Couple of super chats as well, and then we'll get to the last topic, then we'll wrap it up. Owen Style Advisor, which we're not the same people. We're not. I know that's a running joke or whatever, but we're not. Says, get the likes up, Owen my G. Consider it a like for everyone in the chat. You're liking yourselves, people. We're all in this together. Glazers out. We are actually 7 likes away. 7. That's it. 7. We're David Beckham away. We're Cristiano Ronaldo away. We're Eric Cantona away. We're George Best away from getting... we're 5 now away. We're 5 away. We're 1 away. We've done it. Like that. 500 likes. Come on. We hit our goal in terms of the likes this evening, so pick up yourself. Red Baron with the super chat as well says, this club will be the death of me. I hope not, Red Baron. I really don't. Says, with this constant making things last as long as The Sopranos, but it's not as good. Did Sopranos last too long? I'm actually rewatching that at the moment. I wish it lasted longer. In terms of an actual episode, I suppose you could say, look, they were an hour long, but I was just talking the other day to someone about The Sopranos. That's an all-timer, isn't it? And I'm someone that hasn't watched, me, a lot of stuff, but Sopranos, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. James Gandolfini. He is missed, truly. Finally, a little bit about Disasi as well. This was something that did come out the other day. Once again, Damash saying that Manchester United are doing their due diligence on a number of defenders, including Monaco's Axel Disasi. It is thought that Disasi wants to join United. But again, this is quite a strange one for me because this feels like, as Romano had said, a plan B. This is a plan B to Manchester United's pursuit of Kim Min-jae. And this, to me, also feels like this is quite forced from the Disasi end of things. Maybe his agent or his representatives going, yeah, he really wants to join United. He really wants to join United. I see this as only if the Kim Min-jae thing doesn't happen. Maybe because PSG come in and they win that race and they trigger the buyout clause at the same time as us, and they just completely blow us out the water in terms of what we can offer to him. That's already happened this summer to Agati. Chelsea missed out, and PSG, by all accounts, gave him a really attractive offer, so he decided to go there. So I suppose that could happen, and you know what? I am going to give United some credit for this because I do think they should do their due diligence. That's a lot of D's involved there. Do their due diligence on this one because nothing's guaranteed. And how many times have we seen United screw up going for one player? It doesn't work out, or he decides to stay, or he goes elsewhere, and then what we left with? Nothing. And then we're panicking and we're racing against time, and we've got other things that we need to do. So I think it's right to do the due diligence in this situation. But as far as we've seen, he's a plan B. He's not the plan A. The plan A is Kim Min-jae, and nothing in terms of that is going to happen until July 1st, until that buyout clause becomes active. Then after that, of course, the bid will go in. So as I mentioned, in terms of the frustration of why aren't we doing anything? Because we can't at the moment as well. So there you go. Some people saying that people who haven't seen The Sopranos, I recommend it. Absolutely recommend it. Time to Wake Up says Sopranos ending. I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, it did come out ages ago, but it's so good that I wouldn't want to spoil the ending because it's that good. The series is that good. The ending is polarizing. That's probably fair to say. I liked it because I feel like they clearly laid the groundwork for it, and I like them hinting at things and then delivering on them. So I didn't have a problem with it. I can imagine watching it live when it first came out. You would be like, "What's going on here?" But it's brilliant. I like that. And I think quite up to date with super chats as well. And I know I'm definitely getting distracted if I'm talking about Sopranos at 11 p.m. on a Friday night. Anyway, guys, look, thank you for joining me this evening on another late night view, discussing this Manchester United news and drama and things of that nature. We are going to be live, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Usually, we're not for transfer views on a Saturday. Transfer views usually weekdays. Every day, every weekday at 9 a.m. But there's just so much going on at the moment. It feels like it's just you have to because there's so much going on. We want to deliver you that A1 content. I must say, I must echo what Flex mentioned earlier on during today's sort of afternoon stream. This week, just as I mentioned, feels unbelievable. It really does. The community is so strong and communitying right now. Just finishing up a season and a real fun season, a long season, but a fun one. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like we're just getting started. This is going to be a real fun and long summer, and I know a very dramatic summer, but I absolutely love it. It really is just fun, as I mentioned, fun. And we've seen so many new faces here in the community recently, new subscribers, new members, and even just tuning in, not even clicking the like, no super chats, nothing like that, just having fun, civilized conversation. And that's what it's all about. We're fans at the end of the day. So there you go, guys. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. As I mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow morning with another video, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Peace.